workers, you know, from that population within Harlem, you know, being, you know, do we want to see more businesses, or do we want to see
the tourism component?
Yes, the tourism component. There's so many aspects of it. I think even looking at Little Senegal, like maybe we should ask them, you know, what do they want from the community? You know, maybe we can go to them and find out, you know, what is it that you know, want to be, I mean, you're a part of this community. What more could this community give to you as well? So maybe that's
well, I guess also I'm sort of hearing, I mean, I saw the example, but I'm sort of hearing, Keith, that it is very open.
Yes.
I mean, he's just given Senegal that particular example, because it could be that it's not Africa.
It could be a campus. We have a very strong French influence.
We have
a
huge French
population.
huge, right, precisely. We have a Mexican population. We have, you know, a huge French population. But can I just say this? We have so many issues that are ongoing in terms of economic issues, like that. I do think, I mean, I think this is great, but I think it would also come naturally. If we're going to choose a focus, this could be possibly one aspect of the focus that we choose to complement what we sort of part of what the focus would be. So I do, I would sort of look at necessarily not saying that this is going to be, and I'm not saying that it is a particular focus, but if we're going to put in a lot of energy into something, which is what it may require, I think that we need to come up with a very focused program for a particular area within economic development that we can strategize around. And this could be, once we've gotten some traction with that particular focus area, then this is an easy add-on, or one easy add-on to it.
Did you say you were volunteering to chair something?
No, absolutely not.
That's what I heard.
I'm actually, and one of the things I want to bring up, and I'm not going to say, but just make a note now, but at the end of the meeting to discuss the homeless forum, which very much I want to echo that. Well, it's a whole planning process. I don't want to just do something that we just have.
You're suggesting that we have one.
No, we are. We are going to have one, and I'd like to get. We're doing some planning meetings, and well, I don't want to derail this now. That's just my thought.
Just to go back to the kind of the micro question of let's say we focus on Senegal, I would want to look into, obviously we communicate with the community, but you know, because we have the Senegalese consulate on 116th Street, I want to make sure that this wouldn't be redundant with the connections that might already exist, or even in conflict. We don't want to step on folks' toes because say, well, why are you coming in now? We've been doing this for years. Cultural change, economic change. What do you think we do every day? Maybe the response, as opposed to picking some, you know, city in China that there's no connection to and say, let's create something.
No, absolutely.
And there was a group of people or individuals that went to Cuba this summer, and now they're doing like they're doing some kind of program around that too, where they're bringing back some cultural aspects of Cuba back to Harlem, like the dancers, the music, the cuisine.
That's something recently. I saw Havana in the Hamptons. That's what I said.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was
Next summer. A few days in Havana and a few days in
Definitely we start to work on this, because the traditional population of Harlem is changing.
Yes.
Big time.
Even Little Senegal, a lot of
Well, Little Senegal is,
you know,
it's also shrinking.
it is.
They're getting priced out.
just
Moving to Brooklyn and around.
But there are a lot of francophone Africans.
well, I put this out there. My suggestion is that we have whoever would like to volunteer to sort of pursue this and see where it leads. So you don't have to volunteer right now, but I will be having future communication to find out who we'd like to work with developing this from an idea to something much more substantial. And I could have sworn that I heard Dr. Smith say that she was volunteering to do this effort.
You put it on tape, absolutely.
It is on tape. It's on videotape.
I think it's wonderful. But I think it's absolutely wonderful. I think we need to be focused on looking at specific issues that we need to address right here, and then start doing a lot. People will come to us with a lot of exchanges, and we have a lot to offer.
Okay, and on that note, we should probably go to the SLA, because we have three applicants here, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the events that will be coming up this month and next regarding opportunities in this community, and what will be co-sponsored events will be co-sponsored. Yes.
Not now, I'm saying after.
Absolutely.
Okay.
John?
We'll start with the wine and beer application. Papa and Ciccia Inc. do business as Soto Casa Pizzeria, 227 Lenox Avenue, between 121st and 122nd Street, west side, over by near Cherie Restaurant. So, you want to step out?
I don't know where.
You can come right up to the center stage, and you are?
My name is Luca Rigoni, and I'm the owner and the applicant for the wine and beer application. This is going to be the third location of Soto Casa. Soto Casa started on Atlantic Avenue 4 years ago, and we're a pizzeria in the sense that I'm from Italy. In the sense that we have in Italy, so it's mainly pizza, wood fire oven, traditionally made. Everything is open, handmade, and that's what we do. It's pizza, salads, but it's not the kind of pizzeria or pizza that usually, well, now not that much, but usually New Yorkers have an idea, you know, fast food, not healthy and stuff like that. It's these are all restaurants. Sit down, taking your time to enjoy the meal, taking your time to enjoy how a food that is so spread and mistreated can be healthy and delicious. And that's why we really focus on having real Italian and natural, as much as we can, flavors, and the best environment possible, which over the years, as training, ended up being, right now in Brooklyn, downtown Brooklyn, a perfect mix and match of people from Brooklyn. So it doesn't matter to me that everybody in the restaurant has to be Italian, because that's not what we want.
You'll take money from anyone?
What's that?
You'll take money from anyone?
No. Well, I do take money from the customers when I sell something, but that's the only case. And so this is what we do. I think that the main aspect that we stress about being Italian is in the plate. Everything else, we really want to be sotto casa. Sotto casa in Italian means under the house, but mainly means around the corner, very convenient. When we, talk to each other, and when we talk among Italians, it's always a mess, because we say, oh, we're going to meet sotto casa, and then they don't know if we're meeting at the pizzeria or we're actually meeting under the house or very close. So saying this because we are in Brooklyn, and we really want to be part of the community. We want to be a place where people love to gather. We have now 4 years of experience of having families. Downtown Brooklyn is and Boromir, exactly where we are, it's just family and kids and kids and kids, and pizza goes very well with kids, so we know how to be kid friendly, and this is what.
Why did you target this community?
So Harlem came up as a very good fit for us because, as you know a lot better than I do, it's changing, and I thought that this kind of, our kind of pizza would have been a very good fit for this community, because I know the community is changing. I have friends who live around here, and maybe because they're a friend of mine, but they told me, oh, we really need some good pizza around here. We need it, and so I did my background search, and I found it out that it would have been a very good fit, and then just walking around, it's beautiful, and so that's the idea. And on the business side, rent is still accessible.
To jump ahead a little bit, speaking of walking around, I communicated with your attorney about getting some petitions or letters of support.
Which
So
will come. The only problem is that this
So
deadline is
whatever
very fast.
Whatever we do today, between now and a general board meeting, we would want to see.
Yes, absolutely.
This is a residential building, I assume.
Yeah, the residential
So-
building and has 8 units. There are, I can't tell you exactly how many are already rented out and how many are vacant, but some I know are rented out. And then yes, we will get as much of the support we can from the community.
Okay, you have a lot of neighbors.
Yes, absolutely.
There's also a church on the corner, I believe.
There's a church right next door. Yes.
Now, you may want to speak to them.
We will,
and ask
absolutely.
them
We are
what
representing
they
the
might-
church next door. And
Oh,
Okay, I will
Excellent.
talk to you in a second. I have,
We'll hear from you in a moment.
Okay.
so,
Okay, good.
yes, this, I have to say that we're still in construction, and my schedule is a little crazy time-wise, but whatever. I'm opening the second pizzeria in Williamsburg probably the next week, so I'm spending more time now in Williamsburg than up here. But yes, I do believe, especially because of the relationship we have now in Brooklyn, that we're a great fit. I'm on the board of the Atlantic Avenue BID, the Business Urban District. I have a very good relationship with the community board there, and I look forward to have a relationship here. We're not talking only about the pizza. What we're applying for is a wine and beer license. We're not looking for a full liquor license. We don't want to be a bar. We don't want to have bar hours, nothing like that. It's just that a good beer goes very well with a good pizza.
Will you be serving pizza only or pasta dishes?
No, it's just going to be pizza and salads. Actually, the formula of my restaurant is without kitchen. There's no kitchen, only a wood fire oven.
Sorry. I sent these around by email, but there's more copies here.
And you're more than welcome to visit us.
You're just a block away. And your projected price points for your pizza?
I think it's probably going to be the same that we have in Brooklyn. So I would say a margarita will be $11 or $12. It's an individual pie, about 11 inches. So we're on the upper scale of the pizza world, but I think it's worth it.
We have a couple of recent wood-burning pizzerias here.
Yeah.
Harlem Pizza 116 and Babalucci.
Babalucci.
Have you visited them? Have you
Yes.
seen what's-
I've been
both
visiting them.
well.
It is. Everybody, I think, is coming to Harlem right now. So I do believe that we're still going to do great. But for my point of view, the more we start to talk about good pizza around, the better.
How many seats are you going to have?
Probably it's going to be about 40,
Okay.
44.
How many hires? How many people are you hiring?
How many people? We're going to have 3 pizza maker full time with different schedule, 2 prep cooks, and 2 dishwasher, and the floor staff. Go ahead.
Are you gonna use the backyard? Is there a backyard?
There's no
Or
backyard.
the front, outdoor type thing?
No, the
Okay.
front is, no.
No.
It would not be good.
I'm sorry, I have a follow-up
Floor
question.
staff,
for Sherry.
you mentioned
Yeah, the floor staff is going to be one general manager and I would say 4 to 5 servers and 2 bussers.
And you'll be hiring locally in the community,
Yes.
from the community?
Yes, we will probably just have a post assigned there. And it's not only because we want to be part of the community, but it's because it's much better for the business if they don't have to travel an hour on the subway, so if they can walk to work.
Well, you have Workforce One, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I got all the information.
We got
Even
Card
though-
before you go.
That's why I asked why if I could be the trainer, because that would be good.
Oh, they're right there.
He had
I know how to make pizza.
I gave it, he already.
Yeah. You mentioned when you submitted that there's a step down to your front
Yes.
entrance, which is not in itself wheelchair accessible. Do you have a ramp?
So
Ramp?
the ramp is not doable because of the space. There's not enough space because the ramp has to go
No.
for every
But
foot
you're-
down is
You're thinking of
12.
a permanent ramp, but how about a temporary ramp you take out, put?
There's a lot of we're in the same situation in Brooklyn. We have less steps. The problem with having a ramp that is not, by code is that then we are liable for if somebody is just taking very slowly down a chair and then something happens, we're liable for having that ramp there. We're working with our architect and the landmark, because the other problem is that the building is landmarked, so you cannot just do whatever you want.
So just on this, so in terms of just having like those metal ramps that probably fold in two, I guess, that you just pull out of your closet and put down when you have a.
We're the only problem about that is liability, because it's not.
Would you be less liable if they tried to wheel themselves down?
No, what we try to do every time is find a way to carry people down.
Okay.
And but if a ramp is going to be the last solution, that will be, because inside the restaurant it's going to be ADA. The bathroom will be ADA, just one floor. So yeah, we're trying to come up with the better solution for it. We don't know if some of those lift chair is actually a
Because
solution.
I'm sure at the general board meeting, people will want to
revisited.
talk about that.
Okay,
We
absolutely.
feel very strongly about making
Yes.
accessibility a priority.
Absolutely.
When is your projected opening?
It's probably going to be somewhere in the beginning of in November, I would say. So let's say December.
So you've had wine and beer licenses. Well, you have one that you've had the license, and then your
Yes,
second
we have
restaurant,
a
you're
we have a
getting
license on Atlantic Avenue for 4 years,
Okay.
and we have approved wine and beer license
Okay.
for
On Atlantic Avenue, have you had any issues with that license? Any
No.
SLA violations, underage drinking?
No, never.
And what's your noise level like? What kind of music, if any?
No, we just have recorded background music, no live music.
Okay. Have there been any security issues at your other restaurants?
No,
Police activity?
never had even no.
Any customers who have one too many Chianti?
No, because the good thing about beer and wine is that it takes probably too long to get to that point, so we close earlier than that.
Okay.
But anyway, we have our staff is usually very well trained.
And do you deliver?
Yes, we do, and we have all the rules.
Not too far. I'll just walk home. Okay, are there any other questions from the board?
When she opened?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're doing quite well.
Yeah.
Really?
We
And
need
they- I
to
mean,
spread
they
these
have a-
openings
they have a
more
full-
widely.
Yes, I think.
They have a
that's
full
what
liquor
it is.
license and quite an active bar scene.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really nice.
Do they
And
serve just
and they're very
pizzas, or-
friendly.
Great
No,
design.
they
Design, yeah.
They have other food, pasta.
They're
Yeah.
pasta. Yeah.
And they
Every
hire from the
kitchen.
community. They work
Yeah.
with the city.
Is that your competition?
Nice
I know.
family, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
We got a
But it's far away.
It's a-
No,
it's
it's
a-
not far.
Well,
You
it's
can
a-
walk there, what do you
I would
think?
say-
We're-
I would-
We're only like a couple,
I would
6,
love to
5 blocks
go there.
away.
It's not that far,
It's
but
not far.
It's 5 blocks.
It's 5 blocks.
it's okay.
That's far.
Whatever.
So, any questions from the community? Yes, sir.
Why is it such a liability issue to have like a portable ramp for the people with disabilities?
Because the portable ramp is not approved by the building department. So, you know, it's a ramp that we are using as our own liability. So it's not anything that has been, you know, approved by the building department. That's the main liability
Is
problem.
that, just I'm curious, like, who has advised you that? Somebody the lawyers told you? Or?
Yeah, that's what our architect told us, and another lawyer told us about it. So we said, you can have it, but let's figure out the best way to use it.
But under federal law, would it meet any federal guidelines?
I didn't check into that, so I will.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
probably better
Absolutely.
than to check with that.
Absolutely. You know, for me, it would be the easiest solution just to have
Yeah,
it there,
'cause
ready
even
to
a
use.
wooden wedge works. I mean, you just have to have the right architecture, you know, done on it, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're not going to have, you know, Mount Everest slope.
Well, I have to say that those steps are pretty steep, so
Well, then the wedge would
has
have
to
to
be
be-
worked
Yes.
the right way.
Any other questions from the community? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll be in
Thank you.
touch.
Excuse me, sir?
I don't have a
Oh,
question.
sorry. You said
No, no, you don't have a
Any-
question,
well,
you
I
have
said
comment.
questions,
Yes.
Any comments from the
I'm
community?
listening to you diligently.
There you go, I like that.
Listen too well.
Okay. Can I stand here?
Yes, you can. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Of course
You
I
wanna
will.
come to the
First,
front?
my name is Barbara Noel, and I'm here with some other church members. I am representing the Ebenezer Gospel Tabernacle, the pastor is Jabez Springer, along with the Love of God Christian Church, the pastor is Robert F. Purdy. And along with me, I have some members. I have Terica Manette and Rohan Patrick representing our youth department. I have Trisha Manette representing our music department. I have Rosin and Falele representing our usher board, and I represent the Sunday school. Our church is located at 225 Lenox Avenue on the corner of West 121st Street and in Harlem. Okay. And I want to speak to the resolution of a pizza store being built and requesting a wine and beer license next to our building. Our walls almost appear to touch. That's how close the building is. Our building is a landmark church. Our congregation is over 100 years old. And we've been in Harlem for at least a century, and we welcome our new business partners and our new neighbors. It is a delight, and I want to let you know that first off. Before I continue, I have a statement that I'd like you to listen to, and it will be read by Rosalind. Okay, I'll come to the front.
I would just like to read a statement from the officers and members of Ebenezer Gospel Tabernacle and the Love of God Christian Church. It reads as follows. As you know, a house of worship is a sacred place in the Harlem community with spiritual and symbolic meaning. We are diligent in maintaining a standard in upholding spiritual values and ideals which we have practiced well over 100 years in this Harlem location at 121st Street and Lenox Avenue. Our desire is to continue to uphold an example of God and our heritage. We strongly support our spiritual heritage, which is composed of an atmosphere where examples are demonstrated and practiced for our Christian community. We are serious in our commitment to practice our faith without distractions and unnecessary interruptions. We would like to emphasize that the 200 feet rule, we would like to emphasize, I'd like to repeat, the 200 feet rule. There are a lot of children and young people in our congregation. Thank you.
Moreover, we use our church every week. On Sunday, we have morning worship service, and we have our Sunday school. On Wednesdays, we have Bible study and prayer meeting. On Friday is our youth fellowship. Other days of the week, there may be special programs or services as it arises. As my sister mentioned, we are concerned about the 200-foot rule. I'd like to call your attention that between 121st Street, that corner where our church is, and 122nd Street, on the same side of the street, there are two other businesses that have liquor licenses. One, I think it's called La Cherie, something like that. It's a French restaurant. They have alcohol, and by the time you get to the corner, there's another business, I think it's called Boulevard Bistro. They have it. I want to call your attention to the fact that right around the corner from our church on 121st Street, half a block in, there's a school, PS 76. They have a student enrollment of approximately 584 students. They range from pre-kindergarten to the 8th grade. We are concerned about the young people in that area. We are concerned about the message that is being sent. Young people may want to have a slice of pizza, but must they be exposed for wine and beer just to have a slice of pizza? We have to recognize that not only young people, but there are many vulnerable people in Harlem for whom alcohol should not be such a temptation. And you would think a pizza is a family business, but when it's coupled with alcohol, there could be vulnerable people, youth, and other people of other ages who are negatively impacted by this. I'm concerned about the excess of the alcohol on that little strip. You see what I'm saying? Now, I also want to call your attention to the fact that there were formerly two churches there. They're no longer there, okay? But I want to let you know that with the pizza store, and I looked, the hours are going to be like 11 to midnight. You have that oven burning a lot. We have a landmark building. We're concerned about that also, and the environmental impact that they may have. So I just want to remind you also about the 500-foot rule that may come into this situation also. So, to summarize, we are vehemently opposed to having a business juxtaposed to the church selling wine and beer, which would be the third building within that very narrow strip. I'm not even talking about further up and further down. There are more businesses serving alcohol. And I want you to consider the quality of life when you make your decisions on this resolution and other resolutions that might be similar, and have the economic impact, the quality of life impact on the young people and also your vulnerable citizens in the Harlem community. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So there's a 200-foot rule and a 500-foot rule, and people, they're often confused. The 200-foot rule bans any full liquor license within 200 feet of a church or school. So this location cannot get a full liquor license, and Sherry cannot get a full liquor license. Boulevard cannot get a full liquor license, Barrow Wine cannot get a full liquor license because all these churches did. But there's no, the 200-foot rule doesn't place any restriction on wine and beer. The 500-foot rule is a completely different rule, that if you have 3 or more full liquor licenses within 500 feet of one another, it's not barred, but the SLA then holds a special hearing, 500-foot hearing, just on the sense of saying, okay, if there's 3 full liquor licenses, let's just have a hearing and make sure that it's not a detriment to the neighborhood. And, you know, anyone can come and speak at that hearing. You know, most 500-foot rule hearings don't end up, you know, most of them still get their licenses, because in most cases you say, okay, it doesn't look like it's going to be a major problem for the area. No, the 500-foot rule doesn't apply to wine and beer. The 200-foot rule does apply, which means that they couldn't get a full liquor license, and that's why the other area places don't have full liquor licenses. You're welcome. Okay, then we'll then come back and discuss this. Next up, wine and beer application for Seasoned Vegan LLC, located at 55 St. Nicholas Avenue.
Seasoned Vegan. Seasoned Vegan.
Is it seasoned vegan or seasoned vegan? Seasoned vegan or seasoned vegan?
Seasoned vegan.
I'm not neither seasoned nor vegan, so I don't understand. Why don't you guys step up? Where's Donna Gill? When Donna Gill is always asking, you can have healthy vegetarian foods.
I'm not a vegetarian.
So you guys have been. Is this the full lease? Okay, we're so you guys have been operating the restaurant for about a year or more than a year? Okay. So why don't you tell us about, in your case, what you've been doing, how's it been going, and what you would like to do?
Hello, everyone. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Brenda Bailey. This is my son, Aaron Bailey. And we are the owners of First Full-Service Vegan Restaurant.
Brenda, speak a little louder.
I'm sorry. My name is Brenda Beener. This is my son, Aaron Beener, and we are the owners of the First Full-Service Vegan Restaurant in Harlem.
Yay!
Yay! We celebrated our first year anniversary May 3rd, which was a milestone for us, and we're very, very pleased. This is our first restaurant, and we serve vegan food. We also have a raw menu, but we specialize in non-animal products. We don't do dairy. We don't do anything that walks, flies, swim, or crawl. And we are seeking a beer and wine license for our restaurant. And it will be vegan beer, because we've discovered, and vegan beer and wine, we've discovered during our search that a lot of the beers and wines that are sold are filtered with fish and with animal bones. So the ones that we will be selling will not consist of any of that. I'll let my son speak.
Yeah, so we're super excited to be here. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We live in Community Board 10. I've grown up in